Holidays are right around the corner, and there's a good chance that you may have gotten an AIO as a gift to upgrade your gaming computer. Well, guess what? NZXT sent over their new Z53, and we're going to be installing it in this computer and showing you every step-by-step how to do it. A good upgrade for a first-time PC builder or somebody looking to upgrade their computer for the first time, a newbie, anybody like that, tends to be the CPU cooler. An AIO takes the mess out of that a lot of the times versus a custom water cooling loop that you see on a lot of fancier high-end systems. And most systems that you might be building, especially if you're a first-time builder, come with a stock cooler that don't perform very well. And an AIO can get you a lot of performance and a lot lower temperatures. All right, so let's open this up and see what's in the box.
This is the worst unboxing.
No, that worked out pretty good. All right, it's all unboxed and laid out on the table right now. We got a couple of NZXT 120mm fans. So this is a 240mm AIO, so we got two 120mm fans on here. We have the pump and, well, this is the pump block unit. And the cool thing about this one, this is what makes the Z53 nice, is that this right here is an LCD that you'll be able to put any GIF or image that you want or have it display temperature, whatever you like. So that's going to be a really nice feature of this AIO. We also have the cables that are going to be installed here. This is going to plug into the pump and then also to power from the power supply. Then your fans go into that. It's a nice little breakout cable to make sure that you route everything to the back of the case. And then we have the install kit. This is AM4 compatible. So if you have a Ryzen system, you'll be able to use it, as well as Intel 115X and previous generations as well. Also have the instructions manual. Important. We'll need to refer to it, or you guys might need to refer to it in case you run into any issues. The basics of how an AIO works is that there is a pump and a block. The pump, in this case, the pump is in the block that goes on the CPU. That's the cooling block. The pump will pump the liquid through the tubes into the radiator, where the fans will blow the heat that accumulates in the radiator out, and then the cooler liquid comes back down through one of the tubes onto the block, which cools the processor. Through that is the basics of how an AIO works. So it's all self-enclosed and low maintenance, except for making sure that the fans and radiator stay clean for maximum airflow. So we have the computer right here, and an important thing is sort of pre-visualize where you're going to put the AIO. And this one, we've determined that it's going to be going in the top. So this is nice because the tubes are pointed down. Any air bubbles may accumulate right where they belong, up here in the radiator, instead of in the pump where it can cause damage. If you're going to be putting it in the front, again, if you can, make sure that the tubes are at the bottom for maximum performance there and longevity. So once you've figured out where you're going to mount the AIO, you want to see how the fans are going to install. So some cases you can, if you're going to mount it in the front, the fans have to go in front of the radiator, in front of the case like that. You have to make sure that they're on intake. So the back of the frame here that you see where it has the back of the logo or the back of the motor, that's usually where the airflow is going in this direction like that. So in here, it would be intake flowing from the front through, and in the top, that's a little different. If we're going to go like that, we want the fan to be taking in air from inside the case and exhausting it out the top. So this is how we're going to be installing the fans. So let's do that. The screws that come with any AIO, most of the time, if they don't come with the washer like this, have a flange on the top of the screw head. So in this case, you always want to use the washer where you can to make sure that the screw doesn't puncture wherever you're mounting it to go through, in which case you lose that mounting pressure. So if we look at it like this with the fan, you see now it's sort of spreading out where it's tightening onto, whereas if you did it without the screw head, without the washer like this, it almost looks like the screw head can push through, which would be very bad. So make sure that if it comes with washers, you use the washers. So now it's time to mount the radiator in the location that I chose in the top of the case here. So I have mounted the fans in a way where I can route the cables out the back through the passage right here. Now I bring this guy in. Come on. Sometimes a little finessing is required. Okay, and lining it up with the top mounts perfectly right here on this case. Now just got to grab the screws. Like I mentioned about the washers earlier, it's looking like it would be a good idea to use screws with washers here. So let me get those. There's that one. Once you get 2 screws in there, it actually makes it a lot easier to mount the rest of them. So. The cool thing about putting an AIO in a Ryzen-based system, AM4, is that they already have a backplate that's usable. So you probably will already see a backplate that looks like this if you have a Ryzen system. If you have an Intel system, the kit generally includes a replacement backplate that you will need to install during the process. But once the backplate is installed, whether it's Intel or whether it's AMD with the existing backplate, the rest of the steps are very similar. So this is for AMD, but most of the steps will apply for Intel as well. Just imagine that you already put the Intel backplate on. So let's get the backplate and the mounting screws for the AM4 kit ready to go on this one so we can get the pump ready. So very simple, we're just taking those little tower looking things from the AM4 kit baggie, and you just screw the sort of covered end into the screw holes of the existing backplate. Little hand in the way. The majority of AIOs that you might encounter have thermal paste already pre-applied. Most of the time, that's fine to use, especially if you don't plan on doing any crazy overclocking, or if you just need to wait until you can get better thermal paste. In this case, we're just going to stick with the stock thermal paste already pre-applied, that when you stick the pump on there, it will spread to where it needs to. However, if we need to change it out later, you can follow part of this process to take the cooler back off, the pump block that is, apply your own thermal paste, and you'll be good to go. But you might run into an AIO out there that doesn't have pre-applied thermal paste, or maybe a friend is giving you one secondhand and it's been cleaned off. Well, just be aware of that before installing it. There's plenty of thermal paste application videos online, and I'll link some down below if you're wondering how to apply your own thermal paste to the CPU. By default, this Kraken Z53 comes with the Intel attachment plate on the pump block. So we're going to go ahead and remove that by rotating it and then pulling it off. Then we're going to take the AMD one that it came with, and we're going to install it the same way. Now, once you have it on, you sort of do need to eyeball how it's going to be installed, how it's going to line up to the screws, and then remove it and reinstall it in the correct position. So a good idea to make things easier when it comes to steps like this is to lay the case down so you can sort of visualize things a little easier. So let's do that. Careful that when you have the bottom plate off that you don't touch the thermal paste and sort of ruin it. Okay, the orientation has been determined and it's looking like it's going to be installed like this. So, but don't get too far ahead of yourself. There are additional things that maybe need to be plugged into a higher tech pump like this. You see these plugs here? These things need to be plugged in beforehand because you're going to have a lot less room working inside the case if you already mount this down and then realize you have to plug that stuff in. So let's go ahead and plug that in now. Okay, now with the cables plugged in, we could lower it down onto the install posts. We're going to be screwing it in. Make sure you line that up evenly. There we go. And then in the bags that came with everything were these big knurled nuts. So these are what you use to tighten down the AIO to those towers. And you can just drop them in there like that. Take your screwdriver, go in the star pattern though. So we're gonna tighten to where it's just barely tight here so that the thermal paste spreads evenly. We don't get any raised spots here. So we're gonna tighten that one there. We're gonna put another one on the opposite corner over here. Cut. All right, so once you have all four on and they're just barely tight, start again and fully tighten one, but make sure to still go in that sort of star pattern. Make sure that it spreads and tightens evenly, like if you ever tighten the bolts on a car tire. Similar kind of thing. There we go. I'm gonna plug this guy back in now too. This is the USB one. Like I mentioned, we're gonna be routing it to a USB header on the motherboard in order to be able to program the pump and do other things with it. So let's wire manage that one out through the back so we can start getting it out of the way. Okay, and then these other cables are for the fans. Essentially, it's a fan hub, so that way through the USB connection, you can also control the speed and RPM of the fans. So, yeah, so let's get these plugged in through the back as well. There's also a serial ATA power cable. That's to give the pump and the fans a little extra power. Let's get that out back here too. And lastly, there's this cable. This is the one that will power up the pump. And so there is a header on the motherboard that we can plug it directly into. Usually you plug it into CPU or CPU optional, or some motherboards may even label the header as AIO. So let's go ahead and do that. Just like that, and then tidy up the cable from there. So let's get serial ATA power plugged in. Here's a free serial ATA power connector. There we go. And here are the two fans that are mounted to the radiator. These are their connectors. So if we're looking at this thing here, they're gonna mount to these guys. So let's plug them in there and there. And there's a spot for a third one, but I guess this is for the 360 mil one, so they can keep using the same cabling. But or you can just throw an extra fan on there if you wanted to control it through the AIO software. The breakout cable coming from the pump has an extra 4-pin NZXT labeled connector on it. If you already have NZXT RGB accessories like the Hue Plus and other stuff like that NZXT offers, that it's all RGB control stuff, you can also use this to control some NZXT RGB accessories. For now, we won't be using it, so we can just sort of manage it aside. Last thing to connect before we just tidy up the cables a little bit, that USB control that I keep talking about. So we're gonna route it through one of these bottom holes, then we're gonna plug it into the front. There we go. One thing I noticed after mounting it and turning it on is it did need to be rotated a little bit to actually be looking proper in there. There is supposedly a way inside the NZXT software to rotate the display, but I decided to mount it this way because it's just a better way to mount it as a result. All I had to do is take those 4 knurled screws off, take that little mounting plate, move it over a little bit, put it back on, good to go. Something incredibly useful for anything that uses USB headers. If you have a cheaper motherboard, you may not have a lot of USB headers, but if you add an AIO that needs a USB header, your case is already using multiple USB headers, a tool like this from NZXT also ends up coming in handy. This is their new version of their internal USB hub, and what this does is give you more internal USB headers. So let's check it out real quick. So this is the NZXT Internal USB Hub. Serial ATA power plugs in there to give power to anything that plugs in here. You get this purple, actually it's at the top. The purple USB header is the primary, is what we'll call it. This will go to the motherboard, using the cable that they provide, which is right here. And then you can plug in any additional USB headers or any devices that need a header into these ones. So it's like a header replicator, I guess you could put it. So this can come in handy if you just need more USB headers or you run out of them when you're building your computer or upgrading components. It's nice that they also include some double-sided Velcro so you can mount this inside your case anywhere and it doesn't have to dangle or anything like that. And they have a little, I guess, a Velcro wire management strip as well. So this can come in handy. It's really useful, especially with how much RGB gets used in cases nowadays. If you want to pick up one of these for yourself, we'll have an affiliate link down in the description below, so make sure you check it out there. Special thanks again to NZXT for sending this out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Also, I stream to Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/Coalition Gaming Crew. So if you want to talk tech or just talk games, make sure you stop by over there. I'll see you in the Twitch chat. And well, I guess if you're not going to come to the Twitch chat, just click one of these other related videos. We got tons of stuff on PC, hardware, and streaming. Or you know what? See you on Twitch chat. Come to the Twitch chat. Let's talk.